Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Flying V Roadshow podcast, where we're driving and talking at the same time because we're very good at multitasking.
I'm just riding. I'm not driving anywhere.
Good point. Yeah, that is a good point.
I'm sitting shotgun right here
Yeah,
in the trusty steed.
yeah. Keeping old Big Booty Judy company in the passenger seat.
We got Dane Williams and Ryan Kendall bringing up the rear.
Yep.
The ride is definitely improved with your new tires.
Has it?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I think it's the
I
trailer.
think it's the trailer.
Okay.
That too.
It's the trailer.
I just know that when we hit a few bumps back there, like coming down, it was not as jarring on my back.
I remember last year, every time we hit a bump, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
It was like Dane fell down the hill.
like, oh, like you ruptured a disc.
I mean, it felt like
like
it.
you fractured your back.
Yeah.
Falling off a horse.
I'm like, well, we're not running workers' comp around here, so hope you don't get, truly injured.
Dane, you should tell the listeners all about your horse story. Give them the Cliff Notes version of your horse story.
But tell the truth.
Did we get an intro? Like, are we rolling?
Well,
We've
yeah.
been rolling.
Okay.
I mean, you're the audio guy. You tell us.
Yeah, I mean, we're rolling.
The red light's on.
I didn't know if we were messing around or if we're going.
No,
I
we're,
think
we're rolling.
We're podcasting.
We're podcasting.
The truth is, Dane, I think this podcast is going to be full of messing around.
Yeah.
100%.
Nothing
around.
So you want me to tell the story about how I fell off the horse?
Yeah, but use the correct verbiage.
Of
Yeah.
what you've been
fell
telling
off-
everybody
Fell
else.
off the horse.
Yep. And
Yeah. So we were out at a buddy's ranch, our friend Simon Carlson, and we were having a good day. Went to a gun show, went fishing, had a couple beers. We were with the ladies, and they made dinner. And after dinner, we wanted to do something fun, but the sun was going down, so we're like, let's go get on the horses. But, we didn't really want to take the time to saddle them because the sun was going down, and we had some beers. And so Simon's like, just hop on him, bareback. I was like, totally, get on. And the last time I had rode George, he was controlled mostly by his bit. Well, in the time that I had between then and this time, Simon had trained him to do all footwork because he was going to rope off of him, which I didn't know. So I hop on and I just start squeezing my legs because there's not a lot to, grip onto, bareback. And George just starts, going faster, as he should, because that's what I was telling him to do. Well, we hit a corner and I just, slide off and fell on my back, and I didn't think it was broken, but
it wasn't.
well, it was fractured.
Yeah.
So what did the doctor say?
He said that I broke my L2 through 4 vertebrae, fractured my L2 through 4 vertebrae on the right side, and broke my sacrum.
Hell of a learning lesson for Dano there in the arena.
I wish we could overlay the video.
Yeah, we might be able to show you guys the video. We'll see if we can do
We'll
that.
see if we can splice it in.
Because
yeah, I don't
you're
think
gonna
that
wanna see the
technology
video.
exists.
I think it does.
I think even,
As the editor of this podcast,
I think even I could figure out how to do that.
that
Yeah.
can't.
Well, if it can't, then we'll post it on our own personal Instagrams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
that's
think Brady's computer could even import this footage.
No, I'd use my iPhone.
It doesn't come in CD format.
right. So we're happy to have Dano back in full steam.
Back on the
ahead,
saddle.
because he's not back in the saddle, nor is he going to get in a saddle anymore because he is officially retired.
Or any elevated surface.
Yep. But
Truth is, with these new tires on the truck, I'm a little worried about him getting just in and out of the truck.
I was actually nervous that he was going to be milking this thing all the way to the end of waterfowl season. We were going to have to cart his ass around.
Right.
So I'm happy to see that
he did good. 1 week of recovery, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, he's back up and running. So it's
Dano?
good. It's
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to have
It
you.
was a rough week. Man, it hurt. I wouldn't recommend it. The worst part was not breaking the bones. It was that the swelling pinched the sciatic nerve. Anyone that's had sciatic pain before, it hurts. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's the worst.
Like crippling.
Yeah.
Well, it leads us into the conversation that we're going to have about the upcoming MeatEater Flying V TV series that's coming out, launching. When is this going to release?
September 10th.
Well, that's when it launches. When is this podcast going to release?
September 11th.
Okay, so yesterday it launched. And the very first day, I'll start out by the very first day that we're doing the interviews for the MeatEater series was the day after Dane fell off of George. And he was very excited to be a part of the interviews, and he was going to help set up and learn some things from the MeatEater team. And he proceeded for the next 3 hours to lay in the fetal position on the floor of the shop, making noises like this.
Well, I mean, he showed up higher than 700, airplanes.
Oh, yeah, from painkillers. But
Yeah.
thankfully,
He was floating in the stratosphere when he showed up.
Yeah. Didn't even drive there. Maddie brought me because I was.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the painkillers.
Oh, there's a festival going on.
There is. So we are driving to our first hunt of the season, early season goose. We're going to a place, the limit's 5. We're very excited to get back on the road. It feels good to be in the truck with you boys with the trailer in the back and the dogs in tow.
Amen.
New
Man.
dog with us this year.
We do got a new dog with
Yep,
us.
smoked the Chessie's very first goose hunting road trip.
Oh.
I mean, he's not going to be hunting, but just good to have him on a trip, get some road time with him. He's a bit of a road warrior. He's already traveled a lot, but it's just a little different when it's the boys and the goose trailer in tow.
And he's going to get to hopefully see his first dead goose.
He will definitely see his first dead. We're going to kill one.
I hope we kill at least one.
I think we start with one and then work our way up. But
Totally agree.
I do think we can kill a goose in 5 days.
I think so. We're going to a place we've never been before, so.
Never been, have no idea about it, and I mean this is truly as freelance gets.
Yes. But regardless, good to be on the road with you boys. And, we're here to talk about the MeatEater TV show that we're doing with those guys. It's been a long time coming. I mean, dang near 2 years worth of, talking back and forth with them from negotiation standpoint and also just like onboarding into their team and their family of brands and building the concept, and then all filming last year, onboarding Ryan as a part of the team. That was new. And then all the way through the off season of compiling footage and helping with the edits, and now we're here.
We're here. Episode 1 is out. I think, and you guys would know better than me, but I think they're dropping 2 episodes per month.
Yeah, so the current schedule for the release is 2 episodes a month all the way through the year.
Yep.
So that's scheduled as 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
And then depending on kind of how we feel and how everything's going, 2 more in January potentially as well.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We're really excited about it. Excited to give you guys a look into what we have going on here at Flying V. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's great to finally be getting the footage out of everything we've been working on.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work that we've done, a lot of planning and putting in the effort to make sure that we're doing it how we want it to be portrayed. And that's kind of where I come in. Not really a waterfowl until this last season, but bringing it to what truly goes on behind the scenes and the work that happens to be a good waterfowler and hunt. What'd we hunt? 70-something days last year?
64.
64 days. I mean, that's a lot of time in the field.
It is.
It is a lot of time in the field. That was Ryan. For everybody who doesn't know him, he's the lead cinematographer, and he wasn't a waterfowl hunter coming into this, so
No.
it was cool to kind of show him his first, actual waterfowl season, and
I mean,
we-
his
baptism by fire.
his first real waterfowl hunt was day 1 of North Dakota last year, early goose.
Yeah, same time of year.
Now we're doing it again.
Yep.
Hunting out of layouts again.
Oh,
Not ideal for a camera guy.
terrible.
Oh, guys
But
have been
we're-
doing it for years.
But
so.
we're going to do it, and I mean, we're going to continue to get better. That's the one thing that I enjoy is the challenge for what I do as a cinematographer. It really pushes me to learn how to adapt to the situations, and it just broadens my craft.
You guys want to take any bets since we're going into early goose again on if Dane falls asleep in the layout blind again like last year?
Ooh. That would be a risky play.
Well, last year I still hadn't had my eye surgery.
So
what,
your eyes
what
were
does-
heavy?
What does that have to do with falling asleep?
Well, I mean, my lazy eye was
Made your
The
whole
co-
body lazy?
no, was the culprit of getting tired in the truck, getting tired driving. I also was sick that day, and I
Yeah.
was not happy. And you guys shot into like all the geese, so that the gig was up. I was like, we're gonna sit out here for another 3 hours. I may as well, get some sleep.
Yeah. They
Sleep-
kind of all came at once on that hunt. So
yes,
we,
they did.
we
Yeah.
had one rip at them, and that was about it.
Yeah, but it was still a good trip. Like, we went out there, we stuck to our plan, we found geese, and I mean, we got some shooting. I mean, it wasn't hot and heavy like some people get in North Dakota, but for us, I mean, it was.
Yeah, would we kill 17 geese in 3 days or something?
How
I
many
thought it
did
was
we kill? I think we
14.
killed
14,
14. Yeah, in
14
3 days of
something, yeah.
hunting. Yeah, which isn't terrible. I mean, we would have. I mean, when you go to North Dakota and you see that you can shoot 15 a day, you're just like, man, we are gonna pile them up. But I mean, I've been going there for 10 years. I mean, it is not the case all the time.
Truth is, it'd be pretty inconvenient to shoot 15 birds per man for 3 days.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of birds to handle.
It'd
Deal
be
with.
terrible.
It's just a
Especially
lot of
winging 'em.
birds. Yeah, it's a lot of birds to take control of, and especially early in the season like that when it's so darn hot. And man, you almost got to like roll around with a built-in refrigerator or chest freezer in the trailer.
It's actually a good idea. We should do that in the new rig. Put a chest freezer in there with a onboard generator.
We had talked about that for elk hunting, doing something like that, so that you could get the meat out of the heat.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for waterfowl hunting, it just take up so much real estate inside that trailer.
Well,
and
yeah.
for
'cause-
80% of the year, you don't need it because it's so cold.
well, that's the thing. You just get one that goes in a spot when it's warm and you take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could go on the outside and slide out. And then it would be like a steel box on the outside so you could still use that shelf space.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool. Slide out.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah.
But yeah, so what you guys are going to see in the series is you're definitely going to see the North Dakota hunt. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time with that. Stayed in an Airbnb, and yeah,
I
just
think
the
that's
crew.
episode 2.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into some ranch management. We've been a handful of years ago, Brady and I started Flying V Ranches, and diving into a few of the projects that we have been working on with Flying V Ranches. And that's going to be more informative, show you some of the things that we have learned, but also the things that we've struggled with and the failures that we've had, on the management side. Not every piece of soil grows every crop. So, it's just learning things.
Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of great learning moments
Yeah,
that we'll
just
share with you guys.
Trial and error.
Yeah, I mean we're using educated hypothesis, but at times you still got to try shit out.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you just got to keep moving, and so it's just like if you have a theory, you got to implement it to understand if it works or not. And Flying V Ranches is certainly full steam ahead on that concept of if we have a theory, let's figure out if it works or not. And
Yeah.
so on the ranches side, you're going to get to see a bunch of that.
Yeah, I think, overarching theme, what's cool about the show that you're going to see is that it basically is just a open door invite into Flying V. So there's a lot of the hunting, there's a lot of the ranch management, there's a lot of the road trip shenanigans. There's just a lot of fun, a lot of wins, some losses, some banter and shit talking amongst us. Probably some time when tempers flare,
Yeah.
because it does happen.
Yeah.
Bird bet.
Yeah, the bird bet alone.
Mostly
I mean,
with Dane.
and we'll see how much, and so that you understand, like MeatEater is helping us with the edit of these episodes. So, you know, we're kind of a little bit at the subject to what they want to use and what they don't. And so it'll be interesting to see how much of the bird bet, you know, goes in because, man.
My guess is a fair bit goes in because things got hot and heated.
Why don't you explain to everybody what the bird bet was?
The bird bet was this harebrained idea we had going into last year that it was me, Matt, and Dane. So we're all on a team by yourself, right? So your individual game. And if a single came in and you shot it, you didn't get a point. If a single came in and you were up and you missed it, you got a point. First one to 10 was out of the game. So 10, you'd be eliminated. And so it was kind of the last man standing. So the goal is to have the lowest number of points. And so we did it.
But there was rules around, like, so you had an order, and the order started with Brady.
Oh.
And then went to Dane and then me, I think is how it worked.
It was something like that, yeah.
So you had to stay in order, and then when that person shot, whether they hit it or not, then it was the next person was up. And so as we were going through the hunts, you know, there may only be one single or two singles a whole hunt. So this just rolled throughout the entire season, and man, did it
What
cause
happened, though, and we never did finish the bird bet, because what happened is when we're hunting with so many different people in different places, you know, it's hard to tell the guys or the people that you're hunting with, like, hey, by the way, any singles come in, it's only the three of us shooting them.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that. And so I think in the end, I mean, I had a couple points. Dane had a couple. Matt had 0.
Brady should have had about 5.
That was the thing
disagree.
As the bird bet
Well, I know
commissioner,
you do.
that because they wouldn't let me in the bet because I'm not a waterfowler. I can shoot a shotgun, but it wasn't fair to me.
Andy needed to be on the camera.
Well,
And I was filming.
and let's say this: the start of the bird bet was that everybody had to put in $500.
Yes.
Well, we noticed that Dane was getting way too tense and real angry, real worked up on
Well, yeah,
just,
because
Well, I
I'm not
offered
looking to get
just a-
cheated out of $500.
just a hair trigger. And what we learned is that it was the dollar amount was causing him a huge amount of stress.
And
And
I
the cheating.
admitted that I would pay
So-
your half
Yeah, Ryan offered to pay half.
because I was betting on Dane
Yeah.
because he got his eyes fixed.
And so then
Yeah.
what we did is midway through, pretty early in the season, we knocked her down to $100 so that Dane could sleep at night if he missed her.
yeah.
To Dane's point, there's gray area because some of the birds, if they got to a certain yardage or if they were swinging left to right, it had to be a shootable thing, but it was up to the shooter and also cumulatively through the blind. Well,
Yeah, so
Brady had some that were questionable, is what Dane's saying,
And so I would argue my case that doesn't count because it wasn't really a good shot, wasn't really like a good setup.
Yeah, unless the bird was back winging at 25 yards for Brady. Didn't
No,
count.
no, I'm down to take the flyovers at 45, but I just didn't. There was some birds that came in, and I was either occupied doing something with the dog. That was one of them. There was a few different things. There was one that was a pair, and then they split at the last second, and so, you know, Dane felt like that should be a single, which it's by definition not a single.
Well, a single finished and
A single finished.
He didn't finish.
finished.
He was
Oh,
he was
man.
close.
I really
Well,
hope
yeah.
that Andy does a really good job. It's specifically when we were on one trip,
on a center
Out
pivot,
east.
right?
huh?
On a center pivot.
Nope.
No, the
was
center
in the
pivot
beet
was
field.
one.
Oh,
It was in the beet field. There was like 3 in a row. And then there was another one on the center pivot hide. It's all going to be in one episode, and I really hope because and I wish we had had the tentacle sinks back then because I'm pretty sure that we have GoPro and long lens bird footage of the single that Brady is talking about when he couldn't shoot it and it came over at about 30 yards from behind us.
Well, you just
wide
said he
open.
finished.
No, we're talking about the single when you
In
claimed
the cornfield.
No, in the beet field, the one before when he claimed, he
Right.
was messing around with lead, but the video shows him looking up at this goose sailing over at 30 yards.
I mean,
Well, Brady's tactic was to not shoot if it was questionable and then just argue his way out of it.
Yeah, just
That was
take
that
his
was,
ball and go home if you're not.
Well,
gonna agree
talking
with
about
him.
taking a ball and going home, on that hunt, Dane got so mad
Rightfully
that
so.
he was ready to, quit his job, quit working with us.
That's not true.
And he got so pissed off that at one point I told him, well, next time we go hunting, you better bring your own tennis shoes. And he said, why? And I said, because my dog is not picking up any of your fucking birds for the rest of the season. And he got
I didn't
so
say
mad.
You were mad.
I was mad for sure. I didn't say I was going to quit my job because
No.
that would be stupid. I said I'm not going to continue on the bird bet
Yeah,
if I'm going to get cheated out of money.
He took his ball and was going home. So what we did, so this was funny. So Dane's mega hot, right? And I told him that my dog's not picking up any more of his birds. So then Dane is up. Dane shoots I think it was a single that you shot.
Yeah.
So
smoked him.
Dane shoots a single. It goes down. And then I'm like, all right, Dane, go get your bird. I didn't send lead. And so Dane freaking just starts storming out there. He is pissed. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to try to time this to where when he's about 2/3 of the way out, I send lead, and lead beats him to the bird and brings the bird back anyway. And so I get out there, and I let Dane go just a hair too far because when I sent lead, obviously went flying out of there. But he didn't go flying out of there in time. Dane ended up noticing lead coming, ran, picked up the bird before lead could get it. So it was the fastest we have ever seen Dane move in 4 years of working together.
The only other time that was faster was Wyoming when he was running the cattle off the field.
Yeah.
He did some running
Yeah,
then.
he did some running then. So it was, anyway, it was great. A lot of fun, trash talking. It was a fun thing to do. We'll never do it again
Yeah.
because I'm
Because
convinced
we
we'll
have
a
to settle it
We'll have a
'cause
domestic dispute.
All of our money's still in the box.
I mean, we went to shoot Sporting Clays, which is where we were going to settle it, and I won at Sporting Clays, and then
That
it
was
never
not
got brought
agreed.
up.
That was not. It was not. It was
Oh,
not. We did
no
not go
way.
into that.
I haven't
like,
even
this
missed.
Is,
I haven't even
this is
missed
to
a
finish
bird.
the bird bet.
I
We did
never
not,
missed a bird. And
But the
Yeah, you
bet
only
was
had,
never
like,
complete. That's
3
like
chances.
saying, well, I won the first round of the boxing match,
I hit
but we
five.
were going
I hit
5
5.
rounds.
What that sounds like is twice that Matt got hosed on
which is fine.
on a bird bet.
Which is fine.
Matt hosed me on a bird bet in the redneck hole.
Yeah.
First one.
that was
first-
a little bit. I mean, it
That's
was just
different.
yeah.
He did.
it was-
He did steal your bird.
I,
Yeah.
Like,
I shot a single
It was
duck.
very-
It was the very first hunt that we went on for the bird bet.
and Dane was up
The
And
only
Dane was
reason I was
first.
in the blind and not on the camera is because I
he
was
was
up.
Right.
That was discussed, and then Matt,
Then a
screwed
single
screwed
came
you
in.
out of a bird.
You'll
Well, it
see
was
that in the first episode.
A single
He
came in.
literally goes, "Fuck you, Dane,"
No,
and
that
then
was after.
shoots.
No, that was after.
Oh.
That was the next one. That was on mine.
On yours.
Because you had gotten so mad about the first one, then when it's his turn, that's when he said that and then shot that bird. That
Right.
You'll see it in episode 1. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, bird bet. Moving on. It's a funny thing to talk about, but it's a source of contention, and
I think it's great.
I don't want to get the boys too pissed off.
Yeah, not going into the first hunt of the season.
No. No, we need to be feeling good, and jiving, you know.
Yeah.
As you listeners can hear, we spend a lot of time together, and all of this banter is all in good manner, good fun. But
I would say 95% of the time. There is some periods when it rolls over. We cross the line for sure.
yeah. Sometimes.
Mostly Dane gets so mad.
He gets so mad.
gets
It's
so
Well, because
mad.
Brady
But
just
Matt
thinks
will
he can
too.
talk
Yeah.
himself out of anything.
Everybody will.
Well, I mean,
I mean, he's
generally I can.
he's
Yeah,
he's our
wordsmith.
silver tongue,
Yeah.
which we're gonna get to see on this trip.
Which is the
knocking
benefit
doors.
for sure.
Anytime you spend this much amount of personal time and professional time with anybody, there's going to be highs and lows. So
Yeah, peaks and valleys.
this show definitely highlights, what it's really like to be a team in a waterfowl hunting scenario and a waterfowl hunting career and with people that love waterfowl hunting. Oh, 3 dead coons. Got the whole family.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Should have stopped and, checked their pelts. A little warm right now, but
Scraped them up.
would
Or
have
at
been
least tied a balloon to him. Get well soon.
Like
get well soon.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Well, season 1 kicking off right now. Really excited for you guys to see it. What else happened last season? I mean, there's so much stuff.
We had some good trips. We did a lot of hunting in Montana. We did some hunting in Wyoming. We did some hunting in California. Did a bit of traveling here and there. But even just in Montana, we did a lot of hunting around home, and we did a lot of hunting in other areas of the state.
What was your favorite hunt of the whole season?
My favorite hunt of the whole season was at the very end of the season. We were hunting on the Kaiser Ranch with the Kaisers and Kirk Gibson and Cam Gibson. And it was that day that we shot ducks and geese. It was spitting snow. The wind was perfect. The birds were just absolutely doing it. It was just one of those days when you could do no wrong. We'd actually shot all of our geese pretty quick. Had an epic goose hunt. Shot all of our geese, and I don't even know how many more geese we finished landing in the decoys after that. I mean, Dane and Ryan would know, but a lot.
Yeah.
Flock after flock after flock were just landing. We were getting killer footage.
Yeah, it got to a point where they were doing it so well, and it seemed like we could do no wrong. I ended up moving from the tree line behind the blind. That's where I was filming at the start of the day. I was literally sitting in front of the blind. No one was shooting because it was just geese and we were limited out. I just sat in front of the blind in like 2 rows of corn stubble and was just taking photos of birds landing at 25 yards or taking videos of birds landing at 25 yards, and
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
It was really a cool hunt. And that was like one of the only days we had wind all season.
Oh, the wind made it.
Well,
I mean, it was
the wind
top.
was just so perfect.
Yeah, right at our back.
Right at our back. Geese coming straight in.
We had only hunted that field one other time all season.
Yep.
And it was a cornfield, and man, did they love it. And our birds didn't even really show up until December 20th, and that hunt was on, January 10th
or
something.
Yeah.
So they were still fairly fresh.
I mean, during that hunt, we were watching migrators come in.
Yeah, and migrators leave, though, because that
migrators
storm was
leave,
coming
yeah.
in. We had a storm coming in, but no, it was that was a heck of a hunt, man.
We shot a lot of ducks too. We didn't shoot a limit of ducks, but I mean, heck, we had 7 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't too worried about trying to kill 50 ducks, but when the ducks did it, you'll see it in the footage too. We had some epic flocks of ducks come in and just ball up and get right into the decoys, like right in your face.
The shooting was a little tough with that wind. I mean, it was blowing like 35.
It was ripping.
But still made it pretty awesome. What's up? Hold on. We're pausing.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulty here.
Imagine that. GoPros.
GoPro A.
What do you want me to do?
Powered on this side is the button.
Camera's too hot. It's in the dash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even that hot.
Oh.
It's hot on the back.
Give us a little defrost AC, huh? Might help. There we go.
All right, and we're back. We're cooking a GoPro in the dash here.
Yeah. That's all right. GoPros are good for a lot of things, but they do seem to be fickle in the heat and the cold.
Yeah, they suck at a lot of things too.
What was really cool about that hunt is that we got to hunt with Kirk Gibson, the Kirk Gibson, 23
MLB Hall of Famer.
God dang, that was really, really fun to hang
Won
with
the World
him.
Series for the Dodgers.
Yep, him and his son Cam. Man, it was a good time. Did a little bit of elk hunting, shot some cows. Yeah, just a fun week overall with those guys.
It's fun hanging with friends.
Yeah, it really is. I was trying to think about this. What was my favorite hunt? I think that one was probably my favorite as well. Although, there's a few hunts that we had later that week. The very next day, we had an afternoon hunt that we did where it was just a 2-hour afternoon hunt. I mean, all we could do is we had just enough time. We had elk hunted in the morning. We shot some cows. And then, we had a spot, and it was just like, man, we're 1 day away from the end of the season. We should go shoot it. And so we threw out a quick spread, like 3 dozen decoys and some spinners, and got the A-frames set up, and we had 2 hours left. And
Absolutely.
the storm came in. It dropped 30 degrees over that 2 hours because that front was pushing through. And when we started the hunt, it was like 28 degrees or something like that, and it was -5 or something when we ended the hunt, and then it was -35 the next day.
Yeah.
But the birds were putting the feed bag on, and it was just pure chaos.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. I think I even say it in the blind in the episode. You'll see it's just like, it's just one of those days that you think about, and you just hope that in the season that you see 1 or 2 hunts like this.
And because our
And
birds,
we got to see them back to back.
right, and because our birds showed up so late, and I'm sure everybody else experienced this as well, except for Ben and the guys up in Alberta where they
Yeah.
had it all season.
Yeah.
Because our birds showed up so late, like everything was fresh, so they were all flying on time. They were, really, they were not decoy shy. They would just do it. It was crazy.
Perfectly.
It was just birds coming in from every direction. We had geese trying to circle out front. They're getting cut off by the ducks because the duck groups are getting in first, and then they'd have to make another spin on the geese. Man, it was crazy.
Yep.
That's some epic footage, too, just because I was in the blind that day filming in between the slit of the 2 A-frames snapped together. And, so many clips of just like 20, 30, 40, 50 ducks just backpedaling over the spinners and circling and
geese
circling.
set up in the background, and they're just coming in from every direction. It was cool because it was such a short hunt. Anytime you do an afternoon hunt, and that's not something we normally do. We will do it in the early season, and then sometimes we'll do it in the late season. And because you're restricted by time, like the anticipation is so much more, and when it's happening, that element of time just adds a unique variable to it that makes it more fun.
Yep.
God,
That hunt was chaos too. We were running 2 dogs, so dog handlers are picking up their birds, getting back in, running, diving back in the blind. There was like no downtime. As soon as they get back in the blind, start shooting again. Dogs back out. I mean, it was just pure, full on, all gas, no brakes.
Another hunt. Well, let me ask you this, Dane. What was your favorite hunt of the season?
The hunt with Gibby was obviously pretty epic.
Those 4 days or whatever.
Wyoming was also.
Wyoming with the PC boys.
Pacific Calls, yeah.
Was super fun.
That was
the
as quick of a goose hunt as you can have almost.
Yeah. The hunting there was really good. We had a good time. We were staying in an Airbnb, so that was really fun. It's always fun when we stay in Airbnbs on trips just because it's so much better than staying in a hotel. You can cook food. You can take midday naps in the recliners. You can hang out. You don't have to go out to eat and end up at the bar every night, and then you get better sleep. Yeah. I was going to say I really like both the sod farm hunts. Mainly,
sod farm hunts were good.
Mainly because one of my best friends, Tyson, was in town, so we got to hunt together with him. Just super unique. How many times you get to hunt on a frickin' sod farm where the decoys stick out like nothing you've ever seen before, Yeah,
and that sod farm. So my son goes to school right across from the sod farm, and so we watched it build for a long, long time. But there were so many lessers in there. It was so weird.
Yeah.
How many lessers were in there? But yeah, it was really fun to hunt with Justin, and Chris came with us, and yeah, that was a good hunt. We had Jackson Bland on one of those. Trent Lister was there. Yeah, the sod farm is just fun. Now, the sod farm is really hard to hunt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many birds are in it. It is a challenging hunt.
You can only hide on the far edge.
And it's just one end, and they all want to be in the middle.
Half of that farm, the edge is the road, so you can only hunt on one side. You can only hunt the west side of it.
So the birds come from behind you. You got to let them get up over the top. the way that the sod farm works from a production standpoint is every tower services a different year's worth of growth, right? And so the geese really like to be in the newer growth.
Yeah, the young grass.
The younger grass. And last year we had mature grass on the edge in the very last tower. So we were hunting mature sod, like something you'd see,
Like
in
on
the
your
middle
lawn.
of the city. And it was cool, and it made the decoys stick out really, really well. But the challenging part is the birds didn't want to be there, so you really had to work hard to get them to come into that edge.
The silver lining is that this year when we hunt the sod farm, that strip right on the edge is going to be new grass.
Will be new grass, yes.
So, yeah, that one was a really good one, too. I think from just if you're talking about, like, hunts that the hunting was perfect, the single best day of the best hunting we had all year was day one of the buddy hunt.
Oh,
Day one.
I mean,
of the
we
buddy hunt.
literally killed a 12-man limited geese in, like, an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just – and because everybody on that hunt can shoot well and everybody's, goose hunters, when they would come in, we had some of the most epic rainouts of our entire season
Oh, yeah, I
hunting
totally
with those
agree.
boys. And geese were doing it right over the decoys, like backpedaling. You'd let the first 2 or 3 land. You have 15 of them up above the decoys. Then I call a shot, and it's just geese falling out of the sky.
It was so good.
So from just a hunting standpoint, I would say day one of the buddy hunt was the quickest, like, barrel burner we've had all year.
Yeah, it was really good.
and super fun because there was a added aspect in that, which was shooting the 10 gauge bolt gun.
Yeah, we had a 10 gauge bolt action gun that I have, and so we were kind of passing it down the line and people taking turns shooting that. We had some competitions there. Super fun. But yeah, that hunt from just a hunting standpoint, Canada goose hunting, big geese, that was about as greasy as it gets.
Oh, yeah, it was all
Jeez
time.
Louise.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
some
and our-
contention there too.
Oh, of course. I mean, contention.
Not on that day.
No, not on that day.
on that competition.
On
Yeah.
that competition.
Yeah, on day 3.
Yeah.
We, it was when I look back on the season, you can see the gap in our birds and how our birds got a little bit stale as we pushed into, the later half of November and into December before the masses showed up.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get a trickle like we normally get. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this as well, but it was El Nino, right? El Nino really kind of messed with us too. And although we're in the North Country and we will always get the birds no matter what, we got a push in October, and then we didn't get new birds again until the later half
Basically
of December.
I mean, we had some trickles coming in, but like the main mass was about a month and a half late.
Well, and it was 55, 60 degrees, sun, no wind. I mean, they had no reason to leave
That's
up
what I
north
mean,
in
yeah.
Alberta. I mean, they weren't getting snow. They were shooting snows in December.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, we did the best we could with what we had, much like everybody else.
Yeah.
And, we had some pretty banger hunts, but we really got to learn. I was most excited about getting to hunt the Kaiser for the first year and really starting to pick that thing apart because it is a beast in and of itself.
Yeah.
And there's so much spring water, there's so much food, there's so much roosting, and, there's a 80-acre refuge, and it's just one of those ranches that is going to take time to learn, and it was fun to get on the ground and watch a whole season unfold because going into this year, man, am I fired up to do some stuff on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a way better idea how to attack it this year, and we'll be that much more informed going into next season.
Yep.
Ryan, what was your favorite hunt of the year?
The buddy hunt was the funnest hunt that I think that I've ever been on. The only other hunt that I could compare it to is like a deer camp.
Yeah.
But selfishly, the hunt where it was just the 4 of us when you made Dane go retrieve his own bird. My dad and grandpa, and uncles, they grew up waterfowl hunting the Uinta Basin in Utah, and my grandpa, before he passed, he gave me his Model 12, and I got to kill my first geese over decoys with that gun.
That is pretty cool.
And I kept the shell, the hole. I got all the boys to sign it, and that was selfishly my favorite hunt.
Makes sense.
I really enjoyed that hunt as well. And we had, Brady and I had some back and forth on that. We had a really good day going, but we had a plan going into it. I tried to deviate from the plan. We had to work it out while birds were finishing, but that was a really fun hunt. Anytime we go to that particular farm, we always have one hell of a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what the location is just so darn good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that your first goose over the decoys was actually standing in the decoys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
Turkey shot him.
I did.
Well, Ryan's a turkey hunter.
I am a turkey hunter. I've killed 3 of the 4 birds in North America. I'm going to head to Florida this year.
Yeah.
Matt and I are going to go down and get the Osceola.
Get an Osceola so you can finish the slam.
Yeah, first-year turkey hunter. But, I've mentioned this, and these guys are going to rib me, but I never really hunted like this. And on the buddy hunt, when it was my turn for the bolt-action shotgun 10-bore, it looked like it was a long ways out there, and it landed at like 25 yards, and everybody in the blind, they all turn and look at me like, hands on head, what are you doing? and I just didn't shoot. I kind of got enthralled with watching the goose come in, and I was so used to Brady calling the shot. Well, I didn't shoot because Brady didn't call it.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of perspective for shot calling. And a lot of people in hunting groups don't establish that, or it's a different person every time, or you're hunting with different people, and so they'll just say, well, whoever's sitting in the middle, you call the shot or whatever. But like the art of calling the shot at the right time for everyone in the blind. I mean, we had 3 A-frame blinds set up that day. Like, that's 30 feet of blind.
12 guys.
12 guys. Like, it is, and we give Brady a lot of shit for calling the shot sometimes.
Or not
calling the shot. But, I mean, it is truly an art, and to call a good shot, it takes a lot of judgment and experience, and being able to judge the distance and how the birds are going to work, and are they going to circle again, or are they going to keep, is this their last pass and they're just going to fly over to the next field, and so we should shoot them now, or you never know if they're going to, next time they're going to get 5 yards closer or whatever,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's hard. There's so many variables, and everybody can call the shot on that perfect day.
Totally.
Like the Gibby hunt we just talked about. Anybody can call the shot on that hunt. That's easy. It's the other hunts.
Remember when our one buddy, who I won't name, said it's way harder to be a shot caller when there's good wind?
Yeah, versus no wind.
And I'm like, you are smoking black tar heroin.
Yeah.
If you think it's easier when there's no wind,
yeah,
you could not be more wrong. Those birds are just spinning and dicking around, and the truth is it's way easier to call the shot when you got the right wind, and they're going to come in and bow up over the decoys and settle right in. I mean, that's an easy shot call, but I don't know if it was a Freudian slip on his part when he said it, but once he said it and we addressed it, he
doubled down
and defended it.
Yeah, which is then why we came up. This was not last year, but the year before. Why we then said, okay, next hunt, everybody gets to call the shot on a flock.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we just go down the line. I'd call the shot. Dane would call the shot. Doyle would call the shot. Prain would call the shot. You just go all the way down the full 12 guys. And it was really funny because the guys who were giving me the most shit about the shot calling, which the shot calling was right, when it was their turn, they just tripped and fell face first in the mud.
Yeah. It actually.
And there was no wind, fog.
Oh, it was hard.
It actually started the year prior to that.
It did.
When we were hunting, and the 2 of you had to take a call for a Flying V Ranches thing. So you guys walked to the truck. Well, no one wanted to step up and lead, so I ended up calling the shot. And
I remember that. Yeah.
I'm one of the youngest guys in the blind, and there was some, older guys who have a lot of experience hunting, but I ended up calling the shot. Well, the first big flock that came in, and I called the shot, and we killed like 8 birds out of this flock, and we had 6 or 8 shooters. I mean, that's pretty good. And they all just turned to me, and they're like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we just rained out 8 geese, and
It's called the best shot of my life.
Yeah.
like, and so that is where it started. That debate then came back to the Airbnb. That's when he said that it was easier to call because it was no wind. It was a no-wind day. And he's like, well, it's way easier to call a shot when there's no wind. And I'm like, that is not true.
Categorically false.
We deal with a lot of no wind around here. And although I do believe that we have gotten pretty good at hunting no wind, it is still my least favorite.
It's still significantly harder.
Yeah.
It still sucks.
I mean, no matter what happens, like
your hide
if
has
you
to
have
be
no
so
wind,
perfect.
everything has to be perfect.
Your hide has to be so perfect. There cannot be a blade of grass out of place or
The decoy spread,
ugh.
the calling. But yes, hide number one. I mean, it has to be absolutely on point when you have sun and zero wind.
You know, I thought about this, and you tell me what your thoughts are, and I know that I generally know what you're going to say, but hear me out.
Hear me out.
On the sun, no wind days, these birds are coming to this, let's just say we're hunting an X, and we have a pretty decent hide. We're going to
Okay.
edge hide on two A-frames.
Okay?
I think that when we put out 10 dozen decoys, or 8 dozen, 10 dozen, whatever it is, in no wind, it just provides that much more room and decoys for them to look at that aren't moving on no wind.
I know where you're going.
So would it be beneficial to try, because and we don't do this because I know your gut answer, but would it be beneficial for us to try running, a dozen decoys or 18 decoys, something like that, in those moments, so it gives them less to circle around. It gives them less to look at and pick apart. Because we'll have geese, I mean, we got video of, a 6-pack of geese, and, I mean, let's just take that one hunt that you and I were on together. No wind, a bunch of decoys. It took 3.5 minutes for one 6-pack to circle and land.
Yeah.
And they finally landed.
Yeah.
But, it took 3 minutes
Yeah.
for them to do it.
I mean, so I'll start with, we can dang sure try it, right? I think it could work. I don't know if it's going to work better or worse. One thing about lots of decoys on a sun, no wind day, because they will land coming from any direction, is the bigger the decoy spread, we give them more pockets to choose from.
Yeah, if they want to land with the decoys.
If they want to land with the decoys.
I could argue that less decoys and one line of 6 gives them more options to land than covering the area full of decoys.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we've talked about and haven't tried. So we just got to try it on a sun, no wind day. Luckily, in our part of the country, we know that we're going to have 70% of our hunts or more will be sun and no wind. So I think we do it when it's a time when it's just the 4 of us. We're not hunting with any buddies, and we can try it out and make adjustments and
I think
see
run
how
like
she goes.
6 to 12 decoys on a hunt like that and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And what we'll
My
have to be
guess is
careful.
you'll do well with singles, pairs, and triples.
Well, and one thing that we have found a lot of success in that we still don't do super often, but in a sun no wind situation, is to remove a caller from the blind and put him somewhere else, so you have a caller in the blind and caller out of the blind, so you can talk back and forth.
Yep.
That does work
Yep.
in the sun no wind. That other caller just has to be able to hide.
Yep.
But that works out really well. It doesn't have a gun. Last time we did it, it didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
But just getting away and drawing that attention and getting those 2 notes separated a little bit
Yep.
kind of helps.
Yep. No, I think it'd be fun to try, right? Do I think it's the magic pill? Probably not, but
It might be,
I
dude.
also don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to admit what I don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys like doing it. We run the right decoys. I mean, the Dave Smith honkers that we run.
Run them on stakes
they're
early
as
in the season.
nice of a decoy as you can get.
I
so.
like the idea of early in the season before the frost, on a day where there's no frost,
Yep.
no wind, sun, so it's dewy, there's glare, there's all that stuff. Just put a handful of decoys out there and see what happens.
Well, we'll check, but there's a real good chance we could try it on this trip.
This trip is a little tricky. we don't know what we're going to find.
It's going to be warm.
It's going
to be sun.
It's going to be warm. It's going to be
We don't
sun.
know about the wind yet.
Early season, yeah, gosh.
I mean, early season, they tend to land with smaller groups anyway.
If they are all roosting together, which is likely in this area we're going to, that, they're going to know every time a bird leaves the roost. Maybe it is smarter to run a smaller spread. The problem is when you get into, let's say the bird flight is 40 minutes long on this hunt.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to minute 20 halfway through, now over half of the birds have left the roost and now you only have 6. That's my concern with that particular instance.
Yeah,
but it's just going to be situational.
I think you'd run into the same situation even in mid-season at home. I mean, we do have a little bit longer flight, but it's not like, I think in those days, it's not like you'd be like, piss on it, we're going to get the truck and setting out 5 more dozen.
Well, and so, yeah, I agree.
I think once you try that, whether it's 6 decoys, 12 decoys, 18 decoys, you're kind of pot committed. What I do like the idea of, and this would be fun as well, is on a hunt like that, if it's just the 4 of us, we run 2 A-frames, so you got a lot of room in there, and we put 6 to 8 of them out, 10 of them out, but we have another dozen in the other A-frame.
So in case they're landing long, you can pull them in or block them or whatever.
Yeah. That would be a good test to do with the Maximas, especially if we had some decoy cord on the back of them or something.
Yeah.
That you just rapid deploy, maybe even put the stakes out there already, and then you can just go put them on.
You just would never know where you need to have the stakes because you're going to make the decision based on the movements of the bird.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But regardless, those Maximas are super easy to deploy quickly.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Fast.
Yeah.
But this particular hunt, we have all ace.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we're going to see what we find. And hopefully it's a bunch of geese. And
hopefully
no pressure.
It's at least some geese.
Hopefully it's a whole bunch of geese and no pressure with incredible access.
Yeah, everybody just wants
maybe
to
about
say
10,
yes.
10, maybe about 10 mile an hour of wind would be good.
Yeah.
Really nice big fluffy edges would be nice.
Nice crosswind, yeah.
Yeah, crosswind would be even better.
Yeah.
But we got the ghillie blinds in tow, so just in case we got to go slum it in the middle of the field, we can do that.
Cut barley field.
This is where we're.
Hopefully we find some more spiders, huh?
Yeah, I hope we don't find more spiders.
Yeah,
I'm actually fairly confident that we're not going to find as many spiders this year.
Yeah,
probably not behemoths like we did last year.
A boner.
Yeah, the booners.
Well, we are just pulling into a lunch spot, and we're sitting right under an hour, so I think we're sitting pretty good. Episode number 1 of our Over the Road podcast. This will be posted on YouTube, and potentially later on we'll get into Spotify and Apple Music if this is going well. Let us know what you guys think.
Give
Leave
us
a comment down below. Give us ideas.
Yeah, give us ideas for other topics, things you want to know about what we're doing and why and how. We'd love to, chat about it.
Yeah, gear reviews too. If you guys want to learn about decoys or first light, or you want to talk about anything.
Yeah,
we're just going to be putting these headsets on and bullshitting our way through it. So
just free balling.
All right, let's go get some lunch.
We're here at the greatest burger establishment ever, so we're gonna go eat. Signing off, Flying V.
Later.
Later.